Okay, welcome back. Last time we had a problem, and that was we went to mount this SBR rail to the 80/20 extrusion, and guess what? Uh, it was bad. It was bad. We basically had very little surface contact area here, and it didn't even contact the outside, and the holes just didn't line up. And so I got to looking at things, and I decided, you know what? I think we are using the wrong profile. Now I came over here and I was looking on the 80/20 website. This is the 30/30 which we're using. On the 80/20 website, we're at a buck 50 a foot. I'm sorry, per inch. But I was looking. They also make these. This is obviously a standard type system, a fractional. But if we look over here, they also have extrusions in metric. And check this out right here. Well, guess what? We have a 30 millimeter center to center distance. Now, if we went back to eBay and looked at our SBR 20s that the good folks over in China are willing to sell us, let's say any of these, usually, and I just clicked a random one here, so hopefully they have the, most of them have the dimensions on the bottom. And of course, I picked the one that does not, and for some reason there's just a ton of white space. Oh, okay. We'll go back. Let's try this one. From China. I think we may have looked at this one earlier. Aha, here we go. Okay, so if you look in my scroll wheels backwards, it's really tripping me out here, so sorry about that. Our C dimension right here for SBR 20 should ideally be 30. All right, now if you'll remember, we went and got this SBR rail off of GrabCAD, and it was not 30 millimeters. In fact, if we do an evaluation and measure, and we go from that hole to that hole, we are at 33.25. So somebody, was either working off of a different model or or just got it plain wrong. I'm not sure which. However, you know what? It's not the end of the world. I think we can fix this. So now, strictly low on memory. Do you want to continue SolidWorks strength? Yes, let's continue. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm on my laptop and I'm running in a virtual machine here, and there's only I only allotted it so much memory, and so it's going to complain about it. It's going to bicker a little bit. This I should have given the virtual machine more memory. That's my fault. Because this machine actually runs very stable, runs very cool. It's actually a wonderful piece of machinery. I love it. But it just likes to complain a little bit every now and then. So, all right. So I know some of the people are going to be looking at this and thinking, okay, well, here's our old 30/30 inches extrusion. Here is the 60/60 metric, and obviously that is not nearly as beefy. It's really wimpy. The fractional setup is obviously much, much better because it's bigger. Well, okay, it's no secret that I am a fan of mass in my designs. I like mass, I like things being heavy, I like things being big. However, it also has to serve a purpose. Uh, I think that given that we are making a light duty machine and we are not going to be hogging out, you know, hardwoods with a half-inch end mill taking, half-inch passes at 300 inches per minute, I think we're going to be okay. I really, really do. You might be concerned about this. I'm not actually. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. I think we're going to give it a shot. I think we're going to take a look at our at the 60/60 metric extrusions, and I think we'll go ahead and try that out and try it on for size. And I think with the type of machine that we're building, I think that it is a fair compromise. I really do. Now, if you do not agree, well, you can leave hate mail in the comments below. Um, but from where I'm sitting right now, I think this is the direction we need to go. Now, chances are, had we just started with this extrusion and not even talked about the 30-30 to begin with, there's a good chance that that nobody would even care, and we would just assume that okay, well, this was in the picture the whole time, and we're good to go. So I think I don't think that the base is the we got to be the weak point on the machine. I really do not. I think that there are other aspects of the machine that um, that are much more prone to adding in error and slop and vibration and things like that. So, given the size of the machine that we're doing, I think this is the direction we're going to go. All right, enough of that. So, now, as we saw before, our specs over here are not matching the specs on uh, are not matching the specs that we have on this. So we're going to go ahead and just go through a few dimensions here and make sure that this guy is what we want it to be. Now, okay, here we go. Here's our piece, and we're going to look in through here. And if I just hover above, I can see what it's concerned about. Okay, so there's the holes right there. And let's go ahead and edit this sketch and take a look and see how. Oh, okay. I see. So for some reason or another, they decided that 0.538, 5.3, I'm sorry, from the side. That is not how I would dimension this, not at all. If this were me, I would have built it a different way, but it is free off of the internet, so I'm not super worried about it. But and they also modeled it upside down, which is weird. Huh, okay. So let's take a look at this and see what we can do here. Okay. I think a much better way to do this would be to delete this one. And you'll notice that it went blue because it's no longer defined. And we are going to dimension this from the center. And we're going to dimension it from, there's our center line right there. Let's see here. What can we dimension off of that? It's not going to let us. Nope. Let's see here. All right. Let's dimension from the right plane. Let's see if it'll let us do that. So we're going to dimension from the right plane. And this is just not cooperating with me, is it? Why do you got to be that way? Let's try it again. From there to the right plane. There we go. Okay, I got it. And that is not going to be 16.625. It's going to be 30 millimeters divided by 2, which is obviously 15 millimeters. Okay. Now, I didn't see that if that other one shimmied over there as well or not. And quite frankly, I'm a little confused on what's going on here with the somebody else's model. Because that one says it's fully defined, but let's go ahead and delete that. All right, let's try this now. And we'll just dimension off of that. Well, that That obviously was not. And this is the hazard that you run into when working with other people's models is you wonder why they built it the way they built it. The funny thing is, I don't have any other relations there, which confuses me. Why? Hmm. Well, you know what? Tell you what, we're going to discard and exit. We're going to go nuclear on this. We got a linear pattern, which we'll go ahead and get rid of. Actually, for now, we'll just suppress it. We have a cut extrude, and you know what we're going to do is we're going to just suppress you. And we are going to make our own holes. How about that? Bet you didn't see that coming, huh? Did you? All right, let's see here. So we're going to go feature, extrude cut, select that surface. Okay, we'll go ahead and go back to our and reference our drawing here. Let's see here. S1, I'm thinking that's a looks like it's 5.5 millimeters is the size of the hole. So we'll go ahead and dimension that 5.5. And what we're going to do is we're going to select this guy, and we're going to shift and select this guy, and we're going to make them equal. So now if we want to change it, we only have to change one of them, right? That's really nice. Now we're going to go with smart dimension, and we're going to okay, yeah, we'll go ahead and say that we're going to do 30 millimeters between the two. And then what we're going to do is we're going to smart dimension, and we're going to smart dimension from this guy to the right plane. And I think my computer might be being a little slow on me. That's why it's objecting to the right plane. There we go. 15 millimeters. All right, guess what? Now we have our own holes. Uh, I don't care a whole lot about how far we are from the end of the it, because you know it's going to come whatever way it comes, and it's from a design standpoint, it doesn't really matter that much. So we're going to go ahead and just use our smart dimension, and we'll take it off to right there, and we'll just say 10 millimeters. That's fine. It's not a it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't change our design all of that much. So we're going to hit OK. Now, okay, I don't think that that one over there is fully defined, so we're going to just mark that as horizontal. And basically what that does is says that these are on the horizontal plane to each other. So wherever this one goes, this one will follow. Pretty simple. All right, now we're going to do a linear sketch pattern. And our direction is going to be in the x-axis. So what we can do is actually just click one of those, and it says follow that edge, basically. So we'll go every, I don't know, 50 millimeters into there should be a entities to pattern is right here. That one and that one. And now you notice that we can just start adding. Okay, I think 50 millimeters maybe is a little generous, or maybe a little too much. We'll and I'm sure the data sheet says how often these things are, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Let's try 9 of them and do 100 millimeter. Does it fit? Okay, let's do 8 of them and do. There we go. We'll just do 8 of them and 110. So, like I said, I don't know what it. We could look at the data sheet, but just for simplicity, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to do it this way. Now, guess what? Oh, okay, now we're in our cut extrude, so we got our positions ready now. And we're just going to say through all, which means basically we're just cutting through the whole thing, and we're drilling all the way through. Now, guess what? We have our nice little holes right there to our dimensions, to the dimensions that we want. Let's go ahead and check one more thing. We're going to go ahead and evaluate, measure from here. Whoops. No, let's go from all the way from that face to that face. And it says that is 44 millimeters. If we go over here, we're going to look and see that that is our, kind of got to squint to look at it, that is our B dimension right here. And our B, that is 45. Did we say that was 44? Okay, you know what? I'm just going to leave that. I don't see the need in changing that. It doesn't really, that half a millimeter on each side doesn't change anything of our design. So for the sake of time, we're just going to move on. If I was at work and I was doing this, I'd probably go ahead and take the time. Also, one more thing is we're going to look at is we're going to look at this lowercase h dimension right here, and that one is 27 millimeters. I think that that one might be important later on, and that seems to go to the center of there to the bottom of here, and all right, and look, okay, they're perfect. We got 27 millimeters right there. So as of right now, I'm pretty happy with this. With this, I'm gonna look at there and say, yeah, we got a 20 millimeter diameter. I would say that this model is acceptable now to what China is claiming that they can give us. So it took a little bit to get there, but we're gonna go ahead and we'll go here, File, Save. Now, if we come back to our just our little made-up assembly here, this assembly is not for our final project. It's just to kind of help us look look at what's going on. Okay, our holes moved, but if I do a cross section, I'll show you a little neat little trick that I do. If I do a section view, I can take this and I move it, and it allows me to see where the hole is from the end. It's kind of a nice little trick you can do. And of course, all right. And there it is. Now we're centered. These hole spacings are where the manufacturer claims they should be. And our distance from the center here to the surface of here is correct, which is very important. And so I am actually happy with the way this is turning out now. That's going to be much more secure than it was down there. We have a better mounting. Now, sure, it's not as beefy, but I guarantee that if you hadn't seen this earlier and you just started, you probably wouldn't be complaining about it. So anyways, send me all kinds of hate mail. I don't care. We can discuss it in the future if you want. But for now, I think that this is going to be the better solution. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, actually. And for the type of machine that we are building, I think it's going to work just fine. Like I said, we're going through a process here. And this process is, we got to follow it to where it goes. I'm pretty excited about where it's going. Excuse me. So, I'm going to go ahead and close out this file. And I'm not going to save it because we don't need that one anymore. I am going to do a save all now, and we're going to rebuild and save. And oh, assembly one. I think this is our main assembly. We'll just leave it called assembly one. That's fine. Failed to save document. Why is that? Okay, let's see here. Assemb one. Okay, it's not happy about something. I'm going to go ahead to, for memory reasons, I'm going to go ahead and close that one out because we don't need it anymore. Front support, we're not really working on that right now. So basically all we have left is assembly one. Now, let's go ahead and rebuild. Now, if we hit save. Failed to save document. Huh. Well, let's try saving it as assembly 2. Maybe it didn't like being called assembly 1. I don't know if there's a problem with the overwrite. Huh, okay. Well, there it goes. So, and we'll leave that other one as a backup. And when we come back, obviously we have an imposter, this old school fractional 80/20 rail, and its brother over here. They are no longer welcome. We're going to do something different now. So obviously we're going to have to change that up. But I'm excited about the direction we're going with this. I think in the end it's going to be better. And for no other reason other than this now correctly fits. And so, and that's not to say that we can't change our mind in the future again. Again, this is a process. It's never a straight shot to the final solution. It's always, trial and error and learning along the way. This is just kind of how I do it. So, anyways, thank you, and we will see you in the next one.